Our super, super dedicated listeners might recall me sounding a little bit low energy last week. And even
You talked
I
about
think
it.
I even mentioned, I was feeling under the weather. Well, it turned out I had the Rona and continue to have the Rona.
Yep. Todd's got
I
it.
tested positive yesterday, and I continue to feel like absolute ass.
Yep. Now it's just TikTok to see if I get it or not. So far, so good, but
Yeah, Alex did test negative. It's pretty amazing.
we shall see.
I don't know how. At the moment, I've mixed an awesome drug cocktail so I could get through the pod because I'm a champion podcaster. Right now I'm on Tylenol, Benadryl, caffeine, and cannabis. That's a perfect cocktail,
Yep. That is a perfect cocktail.
right?
Everything you need to stay focused.
Yeah, and also I just ate some really spicy hot Thai noodle soup.
Yep. That's perfect as well.
Spicy seafood noodle soup.
Open up the sinuses.
You all don't even know how much that soup hit the spot. I kept saying it to Alex.
Yeah, he's been asking about some kind of hot soup for a few days.
It's true. I finally got my hot soup. Anyway, long story short, I'm not going to break down my ongoing list of symptoms because that's like so 2020 podcast, dude.
Yeah,
to
right?
Go to like give a
Talking about it.
personal breakdown of their symptoms.
Update.
Yeah.
COVID update.
Everyone's been through that. We don't need to hear it again.
Soccer situation.
Because I've been so sick and so fatigued and just kind of depressed, it's so gray and shitty outside too.
Yeah, the weather has also been horrible here.
Yeah. I think it's so crazy how obsessed I'm with this show, The Last of Us. Have you started watching that at all
I
yet?
haven't started with Last of Us yet.
Dude, it's a post-apocalyptic, essentially pandemic zombie show.
Yeah.
Which, of course, you say that and everyone just immediately is like, no, I've had more than enough of that.
Yeah.
But it's so different, dude, and it's so good. And every episode is just so surprising and amazing. It's so fucking bleak. I can't believe that I still want to watch it when I feel like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just so fucking well made that I can't stop watching it, dude.
Yeah, I've only heard rave reviews. And, I mean, the game's always intrigued me.
Yeah, the game got the same reviews.
Yeah.
When it came out, people weren't like, this is... I guess I'm not going to say they weren't like, this is a great game. They were very specifically like, this is a new level of storytelling in video games.
Yeah.
They said that about, so it's no surprise to gamers, I think, that this show is getting the kind of acclaim that it's getting.
Yeah, I think Last of Us fans are not surprised at all.
No.
They've always been obsessed with. There's a huge fan base for that game.
Yeah, I've been really smugly satisfied. One of my favorite TV critics, Andy Greenwald from The Ringer, he started watching it for their podcast, The Watch, and at first he said exactly what I said. He was like, I don't know if I need another zombie show, yada yada. And of course, he's come full circle. He's like, this show's just outstanding in every way.
Yeah, yeah.
This episode was like, it was kind of a fun one. I don't know how many what, I'm gonna say if you really, really don't want spoilers, skip ahead. I'm not gonna give any key spoilers.
Yeah, I never care about spoilers. Anyway,
but if you're like one of those people that's crazy about it, maybe skip ahead like 2 minutes. But this episode was mostly like a fun, upbeat one.
Yeah.
Bella Ramsey, the young girl in it.
Yeah,
This is like a friend of hers. It's a flashback to the earlier days, and they discover like a preserved like 90s era mall.
Oh, shit.
And so it's like her just being blown away by a mall, by all the aspects of a mall. And so it's like a lot of fun. And I was watching it and I was so fucking fatigued from COVID. And I was just like, God damn, I just want everything to go right. Can they just have a nice day?
Yeah.
Can they just have one? And from the context of the story that it's definitely doesn't end well.
Yeah, of course. Of course it's going to end horribly.
Because it's a flashback, and the character she's with is not in the present day, so it's not a spoiler to say it's going to end badly.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, for fuck's sake, Last of Us, just give me this one.
Give one episode of joy.
Regardless of which way it ended up going, it was still... It's one of the best things. It's got to be the best thing going right now. It's such a good show, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I need to dive in finally.
Yeah, you should. It's so good.
Maybe I'll start tonight.
Aside from that, I'm not watching anything current, though, so I guess it's not really valid of me to say it's the best thing going. I'm not really keeping up on a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah, I don't think I'm watching anything current at the moment.
I keep rewatching Star Trek Strange New Worlds because it's kind of the Star Trek that fans have been begging for ever since The Next Generation ended, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
And they finally gave it to us, and it's sacrilege, but I almost want to say it's like better than I can't say it's better than Next Generation. But it's as good as any Trek I've seen. It's so every episode is flawless.
Trekkie's gonna be pissed.
Well, what I was thinking about, and no Trekkie can argue this, is that I think it's the first perfect season of Star Trek ever. Because all the great Star Trek series, they all have terrible filler episodes that are just like borderline unwatchable. Yeah. All of them do. My favorite ones.
I mean, almost every show has those.
DS9, yeah, because they had long ass seasons back then, like 26 episodes a season.
Ridiculous.
And so Strange New Worlds comes out with 10 episode season, but it's just like a heavy hitter, dude.
Yeah.
Every episode just bangs.
Yeah, it's nice when they condense it. They have to condense it. The story has to be all action.
Yeah, I mean, they introduce a whole new crew, and it's kind of its own era of Trek because it's sort of a prequel to everything that happens in the modern era of Trek. Anyway, They nailed it, dude. It's so good.
That's awesome.
But that's not news. Should we talk news? Should we move on to soccer?
We can get on to the footy.
All right. Let's start with Tottenham hosting Chelsea. We're going to start with the Premier League. We know there was a cup game this weekend.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
So, by far, I think the biggest match of the weekend was Tottenham hosting Chelsea.
Yeah, as far as like the names go, when you look at it on paper, like looking at the list of fixtures for the weekend, that it stands out. I think everyone was kind of hoping or expecting Chelsea to put up a fight, and maybe this could kickstart their season or. But to be fair to Tottenham, they did not give a shit about that.
Yeah, I think people are still just seeing this Chelsea lineup and be like, it has to click sometime, right?
Yeah.
But it showed no sign of it again.
No,
Tottenham are
pretty lackluster the entire time. The game itself wasn't overly exciting.
No. Well, Tottenham didn't score until the second half.
Yeah.
They looked on top in the first half, but mostly just because Chelsea just weren't offering any kind of anything in attack.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much like a really impressive dominant display as just as like they were being allowed to kind of have their way.
Yeah, and they got their goals.
Yeah, second half goals from two homegrown boys.
Yeah, that's funny.
Ali Skip.
I think that's his first goal, right? His first Premier League goal. At least this season, maybe.
Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest. But it was a banger, though.
I just remember the commentary. I feel like he was saying it was his first.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
It was a banger, though.
Yeah, it was a great goal. From a bad Enzo Fernandez clearance, it should be noted.
Yeah.
Sloppy clearance from Fernandez from about the goal line. Landed at the foot of Skip about 20 yards out, and he just smashed it.
Yeah. Great hit.
Second goal was a Harry Kane header. He kind of tapped home at the far post from a flicked header.
Yep.
Off a corner. It was pretty professional performance for Tottenham.
Yeah, they just did what they had to do.
Yeah.
Chelsea obviously had the ball toward the end trying to get goals, but they had no cutting edge at all.
No, not. I don't know if it's worth mentioning. There was a little flare up in the first half. It was kind of a funny refereeing bundle again, or bumble. What's the word I'm looking for? In which Ziyech was shown a red and then it was rescinded.
And he was shown a yellow.
Yeah,
but it was not clear whether he was already shown a yellow before that.
Correct. Yes,
because the original tackle he pulled a yellow out for, but he was never officially shown that yellow.
Right. NBC, I just saw, did a really good kind of recap that pointed out by their analysis, they think the ref did intend to give the original yellow to Havertz. There was a lot of online speculation that the ref made a mistake giving that yellow to Havertz, that was supposed to go to Ziyech.
Yeah.
And so his second yellow should have still resulted in a red. But you can see actually
Okay.
when you rewatch it that the ref is originally looking over Ziyech's shoulder at Havertz, and he's on his way walking toward Havertz with the
give him a
card
yellow?
when the shove happens. Yeah, which
Oh.
redirects his attention to Ziyech. Anyway, I said
Okay.
it's probably not worth
Okay.
talking about, and we just spent a minute.
No, I mean it's it's interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a
definitely
funny little
flare up
incident
in the
for
game. It was
sure.
a moment that could have changed the game completely.
Yeah. In the end, it did not.
Yeah.
10 or 11 men. Chelsea are pretty inept at the moment.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's shocking.
There's a funny stat I heard after that game: 3 goals in 10 games for Chelsea. They've scored 3 goals in their last 10 games in all competitions.
And they spent a lot of money on attacking players.
That's bleak, dude.
Yeah, that's very bad.
Talk about Potter being forced out is actually starting to gain some traction.
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago on this pod I said that is nonsense.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he'd see it at least until the start of next season.
Yeah, get him another transfer window in the summer.
Yeah, but momentum really seems to be building a little bit.
Yeah, I mean it's the results just aren't there, and you can't. I mean, where are they at? They're sitting 10th.
Well, look, Liverpool are people are dancing on our grave, and
Yeah.
they're if we win our game in hand, they're 8 points behind us.
Yeah,
so
it's a
I
pretty
mean,
big gap.
Considering, yeah, it's tough, dude. Considering we're having the season we're having, and we haven't spent a dime. They just spent $500 million on players.
Yeah.
It's a messy situation. I don't want to be too reactive because I still think they made smart buys.
They did.
And I really like Graham Potter.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I think if they can be patient and hold it together, it can all still recover.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of not letting it get so toxic
Yep.
that you can't recover from it.
That's the hardest part is the egos.
Yeah, I think we've already said this, but yeah, Bowley said something about ending the era of player power at Chelsea.
Yeah.
But when you spend that much money on these players, they sort of just fundamentally have that power.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a tough situation. Oh yeah. One last note on Chelsea is that I also saw reports this week that they're none too impressed with João Felix with their super expensive loanee.
I hope that's true.
Yeah, and yeah, me and Alex were both like, I hope so. We really don't want them to exercise an option to purchase
No,
him.
I was hoping we would swoop in after a loan and go back in for him.
I would love him to be on the open market this summer for sure.
Yeah,
as if
yeah.
Liverpool spend the money.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah. Now let's move on and talk Everton, Aston Villa. This
Yes.
was a huge game for Everton, obviously.
Yeah, massive.
At home at Goodison, where they're really going to be relying on that crowd to push them over the line this year.
Yeah.
Didn't go their way this week.
Did not go their way. Fairly even contest, I feel like, for the most part.
I would say it even skewed Everton's way.
Yeah.
My first note is that I think Everton fans will feel really unlucky that they didn't get anything out of this.
Yeah, they had their moments.
They did.
There were some really poor efforts on goal from them.
Yeah, they didn't have any really decisive attacking play, but they certainly had their moments. Emmy made some big saves.
He did.
Tyrone Mings cleared that ball off the line.
That's true.
It was, again, that was a scrambled rebound kind of bundled attempt,
Yeah.
but it was there, and Mings had to deal with it.
He
and
did.
He cleared it right off the line.
Easily could have
So
went in.
Everton had their chances, and I still think they're showing enough that they're going to stay up.
Yeah. He's
that-
definitely getting it together.
He's energizing them.
They're still going to have their moments, but because clearly they're rattled, but it does seem like they're trending in the right way.
Villa's second goal from Buendia was pretty sick. Did you see it?
It was a nice goal.
Just a
Very
sharp
nice
dribble
goal.
to the near post, beat Pickford near post.
I like that hard near post finish.
Yeah. Who was the center back? Was it Connor Cody? I feel like it was again.
I think it
Like,
was.
he is just not closing down attackers on that side. He's leaving Pickford. He's hanging Pickford out to dry a little bit.
He did.
But it was a really quick dribble.
It was.
Sharp
Smooth
cut.
feet. Yeah.
Really sharp cut.
Yeah. Wendy is a good player.
Yeah. So huge win. Everton 0, Aston Villa 2.
And Villa needed that win, too. They weren't on a great run.
No,
before
they've been
that.
struggling
Emery
for sure.
needed that.
Yeah.
A big away win for them. That's huge.
Yeah. With the other results around them in the table, that put Everton back in the relegation zone. Unfortunately for them, West Ham came up with a big win this weekend.
Big win, yeah.
Do you want to talk about that one? I didn't see it.
Yeah. watching that game, you would not think West Ham are where they are. You know, they look like West Ham over the last like few years, where they're like a pretty solid mid-table team. They can put on a performance. They're in control for the most part. Forest had a couple moments, but they didn't really offer a whole lot in the game at all. And then the goals were actually super funny. So the goals didn't come till late. So 71st minute, Danny Ings gets the first goal.
Nice.
Just super funny, weird bounces. And then literally it's 2 minutes later, but if there wasn't a VAR check on the first one, it would have been like 20 seconds later. Another cross into the box, another funny like bundled finish from Ings. within a minute, they're like 2 goals ahead.
That's funny. Unlucky.
Yeah, and the Forest they were just rattled, completely rattled. And then Declan Rice, who actually looks, I hate to admit, he looked pretty good.
Oh boy.
Except, I'll tell you what, he scored an absolute beauty, curler into the top corner. But his little runoff celebration and his terrible haircut, I was like, oh, God.
What's his haircut look like these days?
It's
his
just
normal
a really
haircut?
bad like fade up on the sides,
Okay.
and it's really short at one point, and it looks like this normal haircut, but dorkier than normal.
This episode of Soccer Situations is brought to you by Littlefoot Coffee. I mean, what can I say about Littlefoot Coffee? They're not just friends of the pod, they're family of the pod, quite literally. Alex started Littlefoot years ago after more than a decade of roasting experience, roasting coffee for some of the hottest, most fashionable, and most importantly, tasty specialty coffee roasters in America. My favorite thing about it is that it's just really high-grade coffee without a drop of pretense. You're not going to find a bunch of weird, savory notes that the roaster is passing off as intentional. It's just really sweet, comforting flavors that everybody wants in their coffee. And now, for a limited time only, you can get 15% off at littlefootcoffee.com. Promo code SITUATIONS. Once again, you can get 15% off at littlefootcoffee.com using the promo code SITUATIONS.
But yeah, it was bad.
I think both of our clubs have been linked with him.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, We did just talk about the players once you see them in their shirt,
How
suddenly it changes.
Completely changes your perception of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He disgusts me right now, but if he's in the red and white, I'd be like,
Alex has pulled one of the most miraculous turnarounds in human history in his perception of Jorginho.
Jorginho. I love Jorginho now. It's amazing. I hated that man so much.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh man, I hated him. Yeah, and then West Ham just kept piling it on. They got a fourth. Mikel Antonio, who hasn't scored in a long time, got a nice towering header. He didn't celebrate, which I had no idea that he was a former Nottingham Forest player.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
when
strange.
he was there.
I couldn't tell you.
But yeah, it looked like that was a fun game. Some good goals, some funny goals. I always like a super quick goals back to back, especially for a funny player like Ings.
Yeah.
Just watching Danny Ings celebrate is very funny to me.
Why? What about Danny?
He's
Ings
just a
is
funny little troll, you know?
He is kind of a funny little troll, right? He looks like definitely
He's
a guy you
so-
would see at a British pub. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like in a
just covered in
pub.
tattoos, just super British face.
Like, I'm trying to think, what do British people like him do? Like, would he be playing darts? I don't know if that's posh or not. Though.
I don't know.
Would he be playing snooker?
They
Is
do
that
like
posh?
Yeah, I feel like that's posh.
I feel like it's just pool. But
Yeah,
with different colored
basically,
balls.
it is.
Completely out of order. Do you want to rewind to the Arsenal-Leicester game?
Ooh, yeah, we can talk about Arsenal Leicester.
What was your favorite moment of that game?
Oh my
Well,
god.
the game ended 1-0 to the Arsenal, so I guess I could guess what your favorite moment would be.
Yeah, I mean, so looking back at this game now, it feels like it was such an easy win, even though it was only 1-0.
Sure.
But during the game, I felt like this was so stressful and tense. But then I looked, and Leicester has 1 shot and 0 on target. I think I heard that they had the lowest XG of any Premier League team so far in a game.
Yeah, I distinctly remember feeling like they weren't any threat whatsoever.
I feel like it's just the pressure of us having to get the points.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you felt that way watching it because what I was seeing was they were offering nothing.
They
I know
were
when
horrible.
Vardy came on, I was kind of joking with you, like, Jamie Vardy.
I mean,
Alex,
he's done it
look
to us
out."
before, so
Yeah,
it's always a funny.
But I was definitely being jokey about it because
Yeah.
they weren't offering shit.
No, they had nothing. They were
Yeah.
toothless
Yeah.
going forward. I mean, everyone was saying like maybe that's James Maddison. Is he that much of an influence on that team?
Oof.
If
That's,
he is, that's trouble.
That's a hell of an indictment if you're that. Yeah, because that's not a reliable dude.
Yeah. And we were there were some moments in the game though. We were robbed of a cracker from Trossard. Beautiful, beautiful strike taken
Yeah.
away by some antics of Ben White. Some shenanigans going on in the box, holding on to the keeper's hand.
I had to point it out to Alex. He wasn't having it.
No.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm like, Alex.
Ben White didn't do anything.
Alex, look at his other hand.
No.
They're literally holding hands like they're skipping down the sidewalk.
I mean, hey, you got to say if that was a pre-VAR era, that's top level top level shenanigans. Right
100%.
That is top level shenanigans. You could barely tell he was.
We're
holding
talking
on to his
Premier
hands.
League 2006. You're laughing at that.
Yeah,
You're
he's
laughing
getting away
all the
with
way
that
to the
all
bank.
Also, I still would say that Ward punch was going to be weak either way.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it didn't even look like he was trying to lift that arm. You know what I
he
mean?
could have easily shrugged him off.
Yeah,
but,
it wasn't convincing.
oh well.
Yeah.
Poor Trossard. He was having a good game too. He deserved his goal,
Yeah.
but he got an assist.
Oh, that's good. He gets a little consolation prize.
Yeah, he gets a little consolation. It was a good assist.
That's cool.
Nicely timed through ball to Martinelli, who slid it home, and then didn't get to celebrate because he was stomped on by the defender. So he was just laying on the ground holding his knee. We didn't really get to celebrate a goal in that game.
No, it's disappointing.
Yeah. Saka also had one ruled out for offsides.
Ah.
Yeah.
And
got
hey,
1-0.
points on the board.
Points on the board. That's exactly it.
Professional win.
Yeah, I'll take it
Yeah.
all day.
Um.
It's a positive. Partey's back, so he got some minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's big. That's big.
Yeah.
Important.
In a weekend of a lot of mediocre games, I don't know if it's even worth talking about the most mediocre game I've seen in a long time: Crystal Palace and Liverpool.
Yeah, that was a dud of a game for sure.
Yeah, I think I mean we don't even need to talk about the game because literally nothing happened. I only want to rant a little bit because James sent me a YouTube video that was just titled "Should Liverpool sack Klopp?" with all capitals and like 6 exclamation points, and that just fires me up.
Yep, you get fired up about that. You're not gonna stand for that.
No, I won't stand for it, dude. Like, it's so obvious to me that this team is broken down, and that's the problem. It's the squad that's the issue, I don't think there's any denying that, Again, Klopp has been redlining this team. Last year, I feel like I'm becoming that person that repeats this, but we literally became the first team in history to play every possible competitive game last year,
Yeah.
But it was like...
Did it by stealing a multi-million-dollar military aircraft and flying it in such a manner that it may never be airworthy again.
Am I right, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
That's like straight from Cyclone, man. The team is busted.
Yeah.
And it's physical and it's mental, and we need to be refreshed. So I've always been an FSG apologist, but this really comes down to the squad needing to be refreshed and this being a really make or break summer for FSG's commitment to rebuild.
Yeah, this will be the time you see it.
Yeah.
Really, the only thing you could ever say that with Klopp, and I don't think this is a real thing. I don't think he can't do this, but you could say well, if your players aren't able to play that way, do you adapt to play a more conservative way to defend more and play counter or something? But I just don't think it's not in his nature to do that. And it's not in the team's nature. They're not built for that either.
That's true. That is true. I'll say that I think he has attempted to a little bit, but the team just looks disjointed no matter what. They really seem, and this does circle back to Klopp. You're right. They seem unable to adapt. Like we started the season playing a lot of 4-4-2, and the team seemed to have no idea what they were doing, especially in the midfield.
Yeah.
But that's another kind of repeating refrain right now is the issue keeps resonating out of the midfield. I think we're seeing no matter what formation he rolls out, obviously we have had problems all over the pitch,
Yeah,
but it seems like
more in the midfield.
it all, I think, is like ripple effect outward from having a really shaky midfield. This week we fielded Milner, Henderson, and Keita.
Yeah.
Milner's a journeyman. I love the dude, but he's got no pace.
Yep.
Henderson's past it.
He
dude.
can't play alongside Henderson, that's for sure.
I don't even want to talk about Henderson blocking what would have been our winning goal of the game in
Trent's
the most
beautiful
awkward
kick.
way possible. It actually reminded me of one time, like a childhood humiliating memory that like kind of springs up every now and then, and you just get embarrassed and red in the face
Yeah.
for no reason.
Yeah.
When I did exactly that in hockey practice, not even in a game, but in like a scrimmage, we were practicing screens, and I blocked someone's shot like that, and the goalie made fun of me. They were like, "Thanks, man," and I was like, "You son of a bitch," and that's what
so
Henderson
funny.
did. I know, isn't that funny?
Wow.
But anyway, what was I saying now?
I don't know. That's really
Pulled
funny.
childhood trauma out. The midfield's a mess, dude. So we'll see what happens with the summer rebuild. Yeah. Let's move on. We had a cup final this weekend. Old power versus new power. There's so many like very obvious ways to stack this story.
Yeah, and it seems like a very classic matchup too.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about the way they're like the black and white stripes and the red, like their
Oh, the
kits and
solid
everything,
red.
and,
Oh
like,
yeah.
the
And they're
two
just
like
old,
the
huge
two
clubs.
old yeah,
Even though Newcastle haven't won a trophy in
and
50
both
years
fan
or
bases are
something.
just idiots.
Maniac fan bases.
So, did you see the one massive dude with his shirt off, of course, screaming for the
tattoo.
Newcastle? Yeah,
The NUFC tattoo.
yeah, amazing, classic Newcastle stuff.
Newcastle fans never let you down.
Nope.
I followed Pete Donaldson from the Football Rambles journey to Wembley pretty closely on social media.
Oh, nice.
I love Petey, and I'm happy for him. I think everybody knows how I feel about the Saudi takeover. It's fucking horrific. And I kind of want Newcastle to get relegated, even though that's a pipe dream now. But when you see it through the eyes of someone like Pete, it's impossible not to just like be
Somebody
happy
who's
for
like
him.
born and raised in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. That is one thing you have to say as an American fan. You can never really fully understand.
Yeah, no. He
We'll never
suffered so
understand that.
much, dude. He was so
I mean, that
happy.
club has been through shit.
Yeah, the worst of the worst.
Big time shit.
Yeah.
And ran into the ground by poor management over and over again.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, happy for the fans.
Right.
Annoying how it's happening. To be fair to them, though, weirdly, they've been the most conservative of all of the new ownership coming into the league as far as purchasing going.
So far, yeah.
It seems like at least so far, they've been like kind of smartly buying to get them stabilized.
Right.
But then now we'll see if they go crazy at some
They made
point.
a really smart managerial appointment in Eddie Howe rather than going for a Carlo
big name.
Ancelotti. Or,
Yeah.
You know. And so far, it seems like they're making steady progress. They've had they're kind of falling away now. In the meaty end of the season. Am I right to say they have one win in their last 7?
Yeah, they've been struggling.
It's been tough. A lot of draws.
I don't know the exact, but that's bad.
But they're definitely they've fallen firmly out of the title race, and their Champions League place is really in trouble now too.
Yeah.
They sit in 5th at the moment. Let's get on to the game.
Yeah.
A lot of the game, the build up was about Newcastle's 3rd choice keeper, formerly Liverpool's 5th choice goalkeeper, Loris Karius.
Yeah.
And I don't know how serious I want to be about this, but like, people were so excited to see him be fucking tragic that it kind of made me mad a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just as a Liverpool fan defending a former player, but someone with like mental health issues that has been through traumatic events like that.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're celebrating. You have to realize this dude had a horrific traumatic event. You have to recognize that he was actually one of the top goalkeeping prospects in Europe before that happened to him.
Yeah, he was a great keeper.
People were fighting for his signature.
Yeah.
He was expected to take over as Liverpool's number 1. That happened, and he just mentally collapsed, completely fell apart. It derailed his life.
Yeah,
so I feel
pretty
sad
tragic.
about that. I don't want to lecture too much, but like, that is on my mind when I hear that story,
100%.
In the end, it ended up not being much of a story. He didn't really have any howler moments. I
Yeah, there
wouldn't
was
say-
nothing. The goals weren't his fault at all.
No, and
Nothing
he
he could
had
have
a
done.
couple of good saves.
Yeah.
In the second half, he charged down Bruno Fernandes to stop a pretty good chance.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was good. It would have been nice to see him win to see that wrapped up, but it was good to see him back and playing at a good level.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to earn him a starting spot in a relevant team. I don't know if he was that convincing.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he drops down to the championship or something.
Yeah.
Finds his level or finds his game again.
I guess in the end, I was just relieved that it didn't pan out the way everyone was hoping.
Yeah, I didn't want to see an error from him in
Yeah.
that game or a soft goal.
Right. But to focus on the game a little bit, to talk about Manchester United, obviously their resurgence is kind of the story of the season outside of the title race, I think.
Yeah,
Is that fair to say?
I'd say so.
In England, definitely so.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think right now to talk Man United is to talk about Casemiro.
Yeah,
He's been their player of the season, and he scored the first goal in this game.
yeah, beautiful header.
Super dominant header, just powering through the pack, which I think is perfect representation of him as a player in general.
Yeah, and his head, he's kind of got a block head too.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like just a bull. Just
You can't stop that, man.
No, you can't. You always, when a team is on a rebuild, you hear them talk about wanting players with a winning mentality. You know,
Yeah.
He just embodies that so intensely.
Yeah, 100%.
He didn't care that this was like the smaller tier cup at all. He was like,
No.
I haven't won this yet, and I want to win it.
Yeah, I got to give it to United, that whole team in general, for that.
Yeah.
No one looked like that was a Carabao Cup final, and
Nah,
they were
dude.
going to take it easy.
United hadn't won a trophy in like 5+ years, 6 years.
Yeah, that's huge for them.
They were not taking it lightly, dude.
Yeah, that trophy meant a lot, and you could see it in the celebrations too.
Yeah, it was huge, dude.
Yeah, that was a big one for them.
But I mean, Casemiro has been so impressive. It really just contributes and firms up my theory that the key to building a revolution is always a good defensive midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal's
That
the
is
same
the position
way.
to build around. You got Partey at Arsenal.
Yep.
You got Conte at title-winning Leicester.
Yep.
Think about Busquets. He tied together Pep's Barcelona
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. Fabinho is when this Liverpool started winning things.
Yep.
It goes on and on, dude. That is the key position, I'm telling you.
It is,
And now
always.
Casemiro is the foundation of this new Manchester United, really providing that base layer for the other United midfielders and the attack to just thrive.
Yeah,
And
and their wing backs, like Luke Shaw's been. So I can't believe how fast Luke Shaw is after the injuries he's had.
yeah, I know, right?
When he runs at full speed, I'm like, damn, he really is still that fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's quick as hell. And, we've speculated about their lack of data in recruitment because it seems like Ten Hag is just signing Dutchies.
Yeah.
But his signings are panning out super great,
Yeah,
So far,
yeah.
he's killing it.
Turns out it's just they needed coaching.
Anthony's been great. Yeah.
They just needed the manager that knew what he was doing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know enough about what's going on behind the scenes there just to know how involved he is in Rashford's resurgence.
Yeah.
But, at a certain point when so many things start going right, you just gather momentum.
Yep.
And stuff that was on the fringe of going right just falls into place.
Yeah, and
You know?
they've kind of been just piecing it together piece by piece.
Yep.
They haven't really been. It's not like they've been brilliant this year, but they're
No.
still look where they're at in the
They're
table.
they're getting the job done and they're gathering steam and they're getting better game by game.
Even if they just end it and they're in the top 3 and they win this trophy, that's
Yeah.
it. That's a great year for them.
that's a great season for them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good building block.
Yeah, this is Ten Hag's first trophy. I don't think it's going to be his last.
Sadly, no. I don't think it will be his last.
I know.
I mean, I just hope he builds a cool team.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to hate United no matter what.
Yeah.
But can just please don't be dickbags.
I've said, it's funny you say that. I think you will. I've already said to one of my United friend fans, I can't remember who, in a message. It might have just been like an Instagram message, but he is making it easier to respect them again.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah, I'll
They've
give
been
him
an
that.
absolute joke of a club for the past decade.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
a fucking clown show. But I guess it's time to stop laughing. God damn it.
Yep. Unfortunately, our fun is over. I was excited when their fun was over, and now I'm excited. I'm sad to see our fun.
Yeah,
be
right.
over.
My buddy James super annoyingly pointed out that we need to discuss their genuine resurgence without bias, and I was like,
Honestly,
James, I'm gonna kill you.
James,
Shut up,
I
James.
didn't truly want to believe it. I didn't let myself believe it until very recently. So
Yeah, it's
I
true.
was still waiting for the fall off and for me to be happy again.
But James, you'll be glad to know on that subject, this discussion is not the end of it. I'd actually like to tease our first ever podcast guest.
Yes.
We're gonna have a Chicago legend, and the most OG American United fan I know.
Yeah.
On the pod.
I mean, he's been at
soon.
it.
Hopefully,
we've
next
known
week.
him is basically as long as we've been watching almost.
This guy dates back to the time I say when I would go to the pub and there'd be no one else but like 60-year-old British expats.
Yeah.
This guy was the first other American I used to see in the pubs back in the day.
Yeah, legend.
I respect his opinion so much, and it is so much easier for me to talk without bias and to say positive things about United when I'm talking to somebody that I like and respect, a United fan
Yeah.
that I like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It like eases the like hatred pressure valve.
Yeah, you start to, it almost takes the blinders off a little bit, like that
Yeah.
blurry vision
Yeah.
of hating them so much.
Right.
You actually start to see clearly
Yeah.
the positives that are in that United
Yeah.
team.
It's like All Quiet on the Western Front. It's about humanizing the enemy. You know, you're like, oh, this
Exactly.
is a human that I like and respect.
Yeah.
I guess I can listen to them.
yeah. Right, exactly.
Anyway, yeah, hopefully we'll have our first guest on next week's episode, if not soon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we'll-
that's
we'll-
exciting.
We'll talk United. We'll get some proper United experts on the pod. Yeah. Let's talk upcoming games. We've got some fun midweek games. We've got Arsenal-Everton. Can Arsenal redeem themselves against relegation-threatened Everton?
That's the test. At home.
You goddamn had better not lose
A
to them
home
again.
game, midweek game at night. You got to think the Emirates is going to be on fire.
If y'all lose this, I might start rooting against Arsenal in the title race.
I don't know. I don't want to get cocky and say it, but I feel like there's no chance we're losing this.
Right?
At home, after they beat us, the frustration with the home fans,
Yeah.
and like Calvert-Lewin's out.
Well, he gave me the soundbite. There's no way we're losing this.
Yeah.
So we'll have that at least if they lose
Yeah,
it.
if
We'll
we
be able
do
to throw
lose,
that back. and
everyone
have
can
a
laugh
little-
at me. But I do feel like there's no way.
Yeah, it seems unlikely.
Partey's coming back fit. The team's looking good.
Should be easy breezy.
Should be.
Much more difficult to call midweek is Liverpool hosting Wolves.
Yeah.
We've played
Yeah.
Wolves a lot this year, I feel like. Do we play them in 2 cups or something? Anyway,
Must have.
they've all been bad games. I think the last time Wolves took us to task for that, was it 3-0, 3-1? I'm not going to bother to look back on those stats.
Yeah. That was pretty recently, right?
Yeah, it was.
feel like. I
Listen,
remember
I'm
watching
doing
that.
work to erase these memories, Alex. Okay. Honestly, I don't know what Liverpool will show up. We put in decent performances against Everton and Newcastle recently.
Yeah.
We had absolutely nothing to give against Palace this past weekend.
Yeah. I think Palace defensively is a much sturdier team than Wolves, it seems, at the moment.
Yeah, maybe that's fair.
I mean, Wolves are 15th, so, they have not been good this year.
I just really hope we don't field Milner, Henderson, Keita in the midfield again.
Yeah, what's the fitness of the midfield like?
I don't think Thiago will be back. I don't know the status on Thiago right now.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, we'll see. I would predict maybe one of the kids will be in the midfield. It'll either be Bajcetic or Elliott.
Yeah.
Maybe both.
Maybe both, yeah. Why not both?
I wouldn't mind seeing Fabinho, Bajcetic, Elliott. We'll see if Darwin can recover from a little shoulder problem he's had that kept him out of
Yeah, it's a
out of
frustrating
the
one.
Palace game. Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those that's just going to bother him for a while.
Yeah, I
until
would
the
expect.
off-season.
I think they might keep him out of this game as well in hopes that they can get it good for the second leg of Madrid, even though
Yeah.
that's a long shot.
Into the weekend.
Yeah, into the weekend.
I think the weekend starts with, and I was going to say the biggest match, but not our biggest match of the weekend, but a big match for the weekend.
Yes.
City and Newcastle kick
Yeah.
us off.
Massive kickoff.
Yeah.
I think in most weekends it would be the biggest match of the
Yeah,
weekend.
yeah. I almost said it, but then I looked down and later we'll get to that though.
There's some headliners down the way.
Yeah,
Newcastle will want to bounce back from the disappointment of losing the cup. City's defense has looked particularly vulnerable lately.
yep,
This could be a game with some goals.
yeah. It could be. Yeah, we could easily see some fun goals in this game. Because no one's gonna sit. I don't think Newcastle's gonna sit back against City.
No, I think they're going to want to put on a show, I feel like.
Yeah, and City have been vulnerable. I think a lot of it's gonna depend. It's a cliche, I guess, but like first goal could set the tone for this game.
I'd love to see an end-to-end
Me too.
just haymakers.
I'd love to see like a 2-2 or 3-3.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see a draw, obviously, but I'd love to see some drop points and a thrill ride to kick off the weekend.
Right? Some drop points and a thrill ride. After that, in the mid
Midday.
kickoff slot, there's a lot of like not remarkable games. Do you want to just run down them
Yeah.
real quick?
Yeah, so we got Chelsea Leeds. I think that'll be interesting just with Chelsea's form, and then Leeds obviously in a desperation battle to get out of the relegation zone.
Right.
Arsenal Bournemouth should be fairly straightforward, but we'll see. You know, Bournemouth can put in a game. You know what's funny? Something about Bournemouth is their Bournemouth from like Eddie Howe era
Yeah.
is still in my head all the time when I
Yeah.
think of them.
They lost Eddie. And
Yeah.
it's sad because if they go down, that's a club that might stay down,
Unfortunately, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, for a while anyway. It'll take them a long time to climb.
Tiny stadium. I don't know if they have the financial resources to claw their way back out of that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They've been a fun team. Then Villa Palace.
Okay.
I feel like that'll be a decent game.
I don't know. I was gonna say that has grind written all over it.
You think?
Yeah.
I was thinking chaos.
Just based on the Villa Everton game and
Yeah, that's true.
and the Palace Liverpool game that just happened.
that
Those games were both ugly as shit.
Liverpool was pretty ugly.
Yeah, and Villa just barely held in against Everton, so I don't know what to expect from that, but I'm not going to expect a lot.
And then what else we got here? Brighton, West Ham.
Yeah, that's interesting considering West Ham just had a huge result.
Yeah, we'll see if
Right.
it was a fluke or if they actually have found some form.
Yeah, Brighton are on the outer edges of the European spots right now. They could still have an epic season for their club.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're going to have to keep up that momentum. Then later in the day, Southampton-Leicester. Southampton fighting for their lives. Everyone I speak to is like, nah, they're done. It's so tight in the bottom 5 or 6.
It's hard to
though.
rule
I feel
anybody
like-
out yet.
Yeah.
But they don't look. There's not a lot of life there.
Right. And I don't know what Leicester are playing for in 14th right now. I guess they're kind of avoiding relegation too. They themselves are only 3 points outside of the zone.
Yeah, they haven't been. I mean, they're lost their last 2.
Yeah.
They had like it's weird though because they had a moment where it looked like it was coming back for them,
Right.
and then it fell apart in that second half against United, and then they looked awful against Arsenal.
Sunday's huge.
Big.
Huge relegation fight in Leeds Everton. Oh, I'm sorry, Forest Everton.
Everton's gonna be a big one.
Yeah. I guess
Crucial.
again, Forest sitting in 13th. It sounds harsh to say they're in the relegation fight, but it's just so tight at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, there's not a lot of points.
They're
separating
only
that.
4 points out of the relegation zone right now.
Yeah, that can all flip really easy with a couple of wins from somebody.
Yep. One win changes everything right now.
Yeah,
down there
yeah,
at
that's
that
how
end
tight
of the
it
table. Yeah. And then after that, we've got. I don't know. I don't want to oversell it, but it's a big game. It's Liverpool
It's a
and
big game.
Manchester United.
Huge game.
Traditionally the biggest game.
Yeah.
Still for me the biggest game. This is a game that hasn't stressed me out in the past few years.
Yeah.
And traditionally has stressed me out very, very much. And I think it's back because I saw that and I was like, fuck.
This is gonna be one of those where you just gotta hope Liverpool show up for the moment, for the occasion.
Like we did against Everton. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, these games can pull you out of your slump if you let them.
Yep.
Or they can bury you.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a big test.
this United team is going to be looking forward to coming to Anfield.
Right now, yeah.
You know.
They're excited.
They might even be talking about that 5-0 at Old Trafford and getting
Yeah.
themselves hyped to give us something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm sure they want it.
This is about as close as opportunity as they're going to get anytime soon. We're a fucking mess right now. I wouldn't be surprised if like someone like their combative coaches that were like showing them clips from that 5-0 at Old Trafford
Firing
in the
everybody up.
locker room, dude. Yeah. They're
Yeah.
going to want to take it to us. I'm terrified.
Yeah, the game's always fun. The atmosphere is always fun. It's always intense. Teams hate each other. It's great. Yeah, I know. It's stressful though.
Yeah, I hate it. It's so funny how innate my hatred for Manchester United is. Going back to like my Man U buddies, that's what it makes it so funny that I have a handful of my most respected soccer friends are Manchester United fans.
I know, it's funny. But that's where your
I
pure
think
hatred
they
goes.
get it. I think they get it because I
Yeah.
know they feel the same way about Liverpool, and I get it from their end. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's a way more genuine hatred than the kind of distaste I feel for Man City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
That's like
yeah.
a plasticky distaste that I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Yep.
It's
There's something
not
wrong
like
with that.
I feel my chest clenching with hatred.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, after that, in case it goes bad, we have a nice little digestif on Monday.
Yeah. What a treat.
This is the lovely little finisher on Monday. Brentford hosting Fulham.
Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, right?
Both teams are super fun to watch right now.
Yep, both hovering in the lower European spots too.
Yeah, a lot on the line. Definitely fighting. Yeah, I mean, those European places are huge for those clubs.
Yeah, it would be great for either of them to sneak in there.
Yeah.
Fulham obviously a few points ahead, but that game could go either way, and I think either way it goes, it'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Decent weekend of games.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it actually more than I realized.
Yeah.
I've been so honestly clocked out with COVID that I it's funny. It's hard for me to imagine that I didn't even realize the Liverpool Manchester United game was.
I
this
know when I
weekend.
scrolled down when we were getting ready to do this, and
Yeah.
we were like, let's take a peek at next week's or the weekend's fixtures. And I scrolled down and I was like, oh, well, that's a big one. We haven't even mentioned that even in conversation yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. I have not been on it these last couple of weeks.
I mean,
so
I guess
sorry, folks.
we do have a game beforehand,
right.
but still.
But no, that's usually when I'm looking at a couple weeks out anyway. so
Exactly.
I'm off my game.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Got to step it up.
COVID.
I think that's about it for this week.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Do us a favor and spread the podcast any way you can.
Yes, share the love.
Do the reviews and likes. If you know someone that likes soccer, just tell them to listen to one episode.
Give us a chance.
We're trying to polish it up bit by bit, and any help is appreciated.
Absolutely.
So thanks, y'all. Have a good week.
Have a good week, everyone.
Soccer situation. Soccer situation.